Do you find that recently on Strava, all your rides are starting to look a bit like this? All the same, no variety. Or maybe you've been looking forward to going out for a ride all week and you end up on some gravelly farm track or busy main road and you're just thinking you're kind of wasting your time. As cyclists, it's easy to fall into the trap of just doing the same routes that we know because we're comfortable with them. We know where they go, we know what the road conditions like, and it ends up being quite uninspiring. This is why I think one of the best skills you can build as a cyclist is the ability to plan new and exciting routes. Now this year I've cycled over 10,000 kilometers, rapid local chain gangs, 200-kilometer epics through the Welsh mountains, coastal gravel adventures, and even a 1,200-kilometer bikepacking journey through Europe. And over all that time, I've picked up a few tips and tricks about the best ways to plan your routes. So let's get into it.
Now there's nothing more frustrating than having to stop every single time you get to a corner on the bike to whip your phone out, check your Maps app and make sure you're going to turn the right way. And that's why I think the best tip for planning a really great cycling route is to use a dedicated route planning app. Whether it's Komoot, Strava, Ride with GPS, they're all great. Now I personally use Komoot, but what I say applies to pretty much all route planning apps. And the great thing about these apps is they're built on massive amounts of user data, which means they know where cyclists like to cycle, where they're cycling a lot, where they're avoiding, and it uses this to build the best possible routes for you when you're planning your own rides. Now Komoot even has a load of pre-made routes. Most of the time these routes are great as is, but if you want to go a bit further into the details of the route surface or what the quality of the roads are going to be like, here are a few tips to help you out. Firstly, check out the little waypoints. I mentioned there's loads of user-generated data in here, and that also includes photos and reviews of the roads. These are photos that people have uploaded that can help you gauge the surface of the road, the quality, maybe if it's a main road versus a side road. It's all really useful information to have. And in tandem with that, people will also leave reviews. And these can really help gauge things like level of traffic, if it's really busy or quiet, and also just if the road is actually even worth cycling on. I found some really great roads through people's recommendations like this. Now one that I use quite a lot is to actually check the surface breakdown that Komoot provides. It will give you a little breakdown where it shows you what percentage of your ride is actually a main road, a side road, a potentially just like a hard-packed surface or a gravel road, single track. And this is all really helpful again for getting an idea of if Komoot's trying to maybe take you down something slightly questionable. And you can just click on the different surface types and it will take you to where those points are in the map, so you can check them out and you can see if you still would like to cycle on that, or if maybe you want to add like a slight detour to work around it. And if you're still unsure, just have a little recce on Google Street View. There's not always going to be photos in Komoot of the roads that you're going to be on, and naturally their own system of judging whether a road is main, side, hard-packed gravel, whatever, it's not flawless. So a really good resource can be just to hop on Google Maps and go on the Street View and just have a look. And this is something I used all the time when I was planning our bikepacking trip through Europe. It's just a really great way to get a good feel for what the road's like and whether it's something you want to include in your cycle.
Hello.
What have you got to tell the viewers about planning great cycling routes, Fred? Sounds about right. Another great feature is actually your Strava heat map. So this will show you how many times you've actually cycled particular roads and routes, and is a really great way to actually see what roads you're missing. And then it can always be fun to put together a cycle where you actually connect up a load of these uncycled roads that you've never been on before. Okay, on to the next tip.
Now it can be a bit of a fallacy with cyclists that we tend to cycle where we drive, because when you're thinking about going for a bike ride, you think, what routes do I know, what roads do I know, where might be nice, and a lot of the time those are actually routes that you tend to drive, which is why they jump to mind. And you can quickly find out that a road that's quite nice to drive on can suddenly feel very busy and very crowded when you're on it on a bike. So my next tip is to explore the back roads, all those tiny little side roads that you'd never really think to drive on, This is probably where you're going to be finding some of the best cycling you'll do in your area. A lot of the time I'll be cycling maybe on a standard route that I do a bit more regularly, and I'll see a side road that maybe I've never been down before, and I'll either mentally bookmark it for another ride or I'll just head down it in the moment. You know, part of what I love about cycling is the exploration, finding these new routes, places you've never been. You know, I've lived in this area now for maybe 4 years, and I'm still finding great new roads that are so close to home. This next point kind of ties into the one about going on the back roads, exploring more. Don't forget where you've been. Now, I know this one sounds a bit silly, but you wouldn't believe how many times I've done a great ride and found some really nice roads, and then like a week or two later, I've completely forgotten where it was. I can never get back to it. It's the trouble, I guess, when you ride, you know, when you ride 5 or 6 times a week, they stack up kind of quickly, and it is easy to lose track. I know Garmin's got a feature where as you're going, you can like save your location on the route, so you can come back to it and always find it another time. And I'm pretty sure on Komoot and Strava and things like that, you can save favorite routes and favorite segments. So don't neglect it. Do it straight away if you find somewhere you really like, because you won't regret it. Okay, final tip then is make the use of local knowledge. So for me, this was in the form of joining a club, and I think this is one of the best ways actually to discover routes in an area. Every time I go on a club ride, I discover new roads, because the routes we do on club rides, you know, these are put together by guys that have lived in the area for years and years, and they've been passed down, and you know, really they are designed for cyclists, because it's by people that know what routes are the best. So absolutely a great resource for you. And in that vein, another great resource is obviously your local bike shops. You know, these guys live and breathe bikes. They're going to know the great cycling in the area. Get in there, talk to them, see what they recommend. Something else you could do here is have a look at some of the local Audaxes in your area. So an Audax, if you don't know, is basically like it's an ultra distance cycle. They tend to be put together by cyclists in the area who know the area really well, want to show off the best of what it has to offer. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and do a 300, 400, 500 kilometer cycle, but what you can do is have a look at the routes they use and maybe just do a section, do a loop, make your own loop based off it, incorporate something that they've recommended and see how that goes. There's so much good information out there that it just seems a crime to do the same loops over and over again. Don't neglect books either. It's really easy in this day and age to think you just jump on an app and it will just do it all for you. And to be honest, it kind of will. But books could be a great resource for just discovering things that you wouldn't even know to search in the first place. I think this is really helpful for things like bike packing, more kind of like adventure cycling. Countries I would have thought to cycle in, you know, routes, sections, and books can be really great for just opening your eyes to this without you having to search for it specifically. So those are my tips and tricks for trying to plan the perfect cycle route. Hopefully you found something in there that was useful that you didn't know already. It's not foolproof. Obviously at some point you're going to get turned around on some weird little roads, but that's just the nature of it. If you've got any tips and tricks of your own, I'd love to hear them. Just drop them down below, and I'll catch you in another one.